Today I'm going to talk about how smartphones impact the informatics realm. Hey, this is Jen from Informatics Life, where I give you weekly insight on healthcare and technology. All right. Oh my gosh, I had a crazy week. It's all good though. I'm here now. That's what matters. Let's talk about smartphones. Now, some of you out there may already have some type of technology or tech phone or even a basic phone that you utilize on your unit. Whether you get, call bell systems, ping to your phone, or anything like that. So I'm going to go more in depth with really cool smartphone features that make the nurse's life a whole lot easier. All right, so I'm gonna talk about 4 ways to be more specific. The first topic I want to talk about is integration. If you are an informatics specialist, that word is very common in your lingo because everything has to be integrated to make it so much easier, right? All right, so you would work with integration specialists, or you could be the integration specialist as well, to help incorporate that phone into your call bell system, into your operating system, into your documentation system. It takes a team. You know how it takes a village? It seriously takes a village, an organizational IT/informatics village to make technology work. So the first part of that is integration, like I said. So you want to make sure that all the bells and whistles that the smartphone comes with is actually integrated into your documentation system, your phone system, or whatever other system that you have that will take time and effort. A lot of times, integration on a smartphone will take some type of personnel contacting the vendors of that other technology that you need to integrate with. A lot of times they are already familiar with the devices, or they have some type of knowledge of what tools going to be needed in order to integrate that smartphone into your call bell system or your operational system as far as phone system or your documentation system. So the vendor is going to have a lot of knowledge on what needs to be done. So integration, yes, will take a village of IT plus vendors to make this all happen. Number 2, call bell system. Oh my goodness. So what do I mean by the call bell system? All right, this is what I mean. Most people already are very familiar with a call bell system. You know that call bell system that the nurse has to answer when the patient's inside the room because they're hungry, they're in pain, they need the nurse. It's all about the nurse, right? Okay, so with smartphone technology, amazing, yes. So the nurse can actually answer the call bell from the phone. Oh my gosh, so amazing. Right, yes. So much easier, so much better because the nurse can then, listen to this, find out what the patient wants and then silence the call bell from their phone, go get what the patient needs, take it to the room. And a lot of times, a lot of setup means that you can only turn off the call bell inside the room. Yeah, that's probably a good idea because, nurses could sometimes accidentally turn it off, or they might, permanently say they acknowledged it, but maybe they were in a meeting. They were just like clicking around because they're busy. So a lot of setups do have where the call bell can only be turned off inside the room, but the nurse can silence it on the phone, which is, I think, a great idea. But it's still a significant time saver. Why? Because the nurse is able to grab everything that they need before going into the room. Yes, that is a nurse win for sure. Y'all remember what it was like on the floor? If you're still on the floor, you know how that is. But you have to go to the room, find out what they want, then leave. This time, you already know what they want, and you just head off to their room. Number 3, reviewing the chart from the phone. Yes! Let me hear the crowds go. Yes! Oh, I totally wish I had this on my floor when I was on the floor. But at least I get to be a part of this amazing nurse win by helping to get this going on the floors nowadays. Okay, so what does this mean for nurses? That means they're able to pull up the patient's chart information from the smartphone. So they could be in rounding with physicians and case management and nutritional services or whoever it may be. And they don't have to carry the clunky laptop around or whatever you want to call it. They can just like, and just pull it out and look at lab work, look at last meds given, look up patient concerns, all from the ease of a smartphone. So nice. I told them this episode out. So nice. Okay. So that is such a win for nurses. Also, if they're on the phone with a physician, they could be on like the other phone, in the unit, the other phone. And they could be having their handy dandy smartphone as well, unless of course they're using it. Some units do have Bluetooth, which is just like so bougie. That is awesome if you do. But if you don't have a smartphone, you have to put it to your ear when you're talking to the doctor. This is not gonna work. These are for the nurses who are using the unit phone and they're just looking up information from their smartphone device. So in this case, they can just look up lab work really fast. They can look up whatever is needed at the ease of a button, especially if it's like a quick code for them to get in versus having to sign into the computer in the unit. It makes it so much easier when you're trying to get information for the physician right away. So yes, reviewing the patient's chart on the phone is awesome. And the 4th way that smartphones impact healthcare and the informatics realm is text messaging. Most of us don't even like to pick up the phone anymore nowadays. You know how it is. Hey, I can't answer the phone, but text me, right? So nurses and RT specialists and physicians, yes, I said physicians as well, they want to text. When your organization has a dedicated smartphone device for secure texting, make sure you hear that. Secure texting, not your own personal phone. We're not talking about that one. We're talking about an organization dedicated device, okay? So that is a point. Let me tell y'all, stop texting on your phone. That is a legal issue. Secure device. So with texting, it's amazing because you can quickly text the doctor, the hospitalist, or say for instance, your cohorts in your unit. Maybe you need a nurse. You just saw a nurse go into the bedroom and you're like, hey, you give me some IV fluids or something, and like that could just easily work for units, especially if you're doing team nursing, which is amazing. Team nursing, yes. So that's an easy way to utilize text messaging, as well as like I said, talking to the physician or texting physician. Some smartphone devices, you're able to transmit pictures. Maybe there's like a wound that the physician wanted to see really quick, an update. You can use your smartphone to take a picture. Of course, make sure you have patient identifier information within that picture. So you can quickly take a snapshot, send it over to the physician so he can make some recommendations as needed. But of course, document that in the patient's chart as well. All right, I gotta put those little inserts in there to make sure you guys know how to do this wisely, okay? So anyways, so you will want to make sure that you utilize this to the best of your ability, because with secure texting, you can send off patient private information as needed, okay? And there's no legal issues because you're sending it over a secure airwave and you don't have to be concerned about someone hacking your system. On your personal device, yes, you may have that problem. That's why I say, for legality purposes, stay away from text messaging from your devices. I have seen it happen. You don't want that to happen to you, okay? You might be asking, okay, Jennifer, you named how nurses use this. How does this really impact informatics? Well, for one thing, you guys are teaching that information. You know, with the informatics specialists, you all have to learn it. You have to learn the ins and out of the device, how to troubleshoot it. You have to crash learn to support it as well, okay? Because a lot of people, unless you're, I'm gonna say it like this, maybe your unit or your organization, informatics specialists do not support the devices after you go live. But for large organizations like mine, we do support the device after we go live with it. So if you don't, that's a sweet life. For most of us, you gotta know what you're doing, because you might get that phone call in the middle of the night asking, hey, I locked myself out of this phone and I can't get in. Or you might get, I documented in the wrong patient's chart for my phone. How do I take this off? Now, for integration purposes, who do you think will collect all of that data that's needed in order to make the integration work? Like, as far as how often they want the call bell to ring to the phone before it goes to like the second nurse or to the charge nurse, or the operational system as far as the contact list in the smartphone, who's going to collect that data? Or say, for instance, you want the smartphone to ring 5 times and it gets sent to whomever. Who do you think collects all that data? You, as an informatics nurse specialist. So it is a lot of work. It is, I can't tell you enough. It can take hours upon hours to collect all this information for your organization because you want to make sure it's accurate. As far as upkeeping, a lot of times an informatics specialist will be involved with upkeep, depending upon your organization. Some organizations, they don't. So you're probably wondering, what does the informatics nurse specialist do in regards to the nurse reviewing the chart on the phone? You're like, well, what do I do? Oh, what do you do? You do a lot. All right. You do a lot of testing. Let me tell you, testing is so key in any type of integrated device. You want to make sure all the information that's supposed to pull from the actual documentation system is 100% accurate when it's pulled into the device. Okay, sometimes there are glitches, and sometimes this might pull, but this doesn't pull, and then this is inaccurate because it depends on the display settings on the phone. It depends on other things that you have to make sure it's accurate 100%. So there's a lot of testing that goes into that. And then as well as for reviewing the chart information, you want to test multiple patients to make sure that multiple patients' information is flowing accurately, as well as text messaging. You want to make sure that the physician position is receiving messages from the nursing position, and the RT position is receiving messages from the dietitian position. So it's a lot of, you might think, oh, well, that just sounds easy. You're going to spend a lot of hours on testing to make sure our medical staff has top-notch devices and everything is working. We always say we try to break the system. You might think, why would you try to break it? Because we know that there might be times that something might be hitting up against the phone, paper, or something, and might be clicking around, and it has happened, trust me. And something goes haywire on the device because it was pressed through too long, or it was hitting multiple things on the phone and it causes a problem. So for informatics nurse specialists, we want to make sure that we try to do our best to break it. I mean, by clicking, by opening different things on the device, by closing multiple things at the same time, and making a, so how about we have a phone call coming through while the nurse is actually trying to review a chart, and then someone sends them a text at the same time, all at the same time. Let's see what happens. Those are the things that we really have to test to make sure the real world out there will still have an amazing device versus something crashes because 3 phone calls came in at one time. Like that never happens, right? So anyways, so those are my 4 ways that smartphones impact the informatics field. Again, it does impact our nurses, but it passes down to the informatics nurse specialist because you are the person that must upkeep that device and do all the testing and make sure you get enough testers out there in the field, as well as because you want bedside testers as well. You want to make sure that this is good for them, that they like it. Because we like it when they like it, right? All right. So I hope you learned something about that piece of technology, smartphones. If your hospital does not have smartphones, come on, it's time to move up the ladder here. I know it costs money. Yeah, it does. But anyways, maybe your hospital could consider it. It does make the nurse's life a lot easier when they're able to get to their patients' needs a lot faster and communicate, as well as review patient chart information. It's all so awesome. All right, if you like this type of information, please don't forget to like and subscribe down below so I can give you more amazing healthcare and technology tips in the informatics realm, whether it's nursing or healthcare. All right, you guys, have a good day. Signing off. Bye. In the patient's room, right? So you have a phone. Now I'm going to use... Where's my phone? And last but not least, the 4th way that smartphones impact the informatics realm is